Ladies and gentlemen, are we all set for the next technical session here in the house? And this is on behalf of Jesons Industries Ltd, who are the title partners as well. This session is going to be all about the advancement in specialty coating emulsions to address the critical challenges of the architectural coating industry. And I'm going to be inviting our honorable speaker on the stage, Dr. V.P. Mallik. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about Dr. V.P. Mallik, he is an accomplished coating professional and technology leader having 45 years of in-depth experience in coating research, product development, and of course the technology management. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Dr. V.P. Mallik in the house. एक बार जोरदार वाली तालियां हो जाए to have the energy, please. Thank you very much.
Good morning to all. So all distinguished delegates from the IPCA fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. I think first of all, since regarding this conference, they never before during the past 4.5 decades in my career journey through the coating industry, especially in the R&D, I have never seen such a massive disruption what we are witnessing now. I think the impact of this disruption have been felt by almost all the large players to the medium scale to the small scale. So in 45 years it was not seen. See, in such a situation when we face such kind of turbulent waves in a rough sea, it's not the strongest who always win. You require a different tactics, different strategy. I think need of the game today is a creative differentiation. And the differentiation can come only through innovation. And that's why I say the AVINYA approach is very apt for this conference, the theme of this entire conference. It's only the AVINYA will lead to, I say Bhinna means different. AVINYA will lead to Bhinna outcome. That's the way to succeed in the current scenario. With this, I will move over to my presentation. Just can you check? Oh no. Okay. So I have just given the talk on my, basically I am now coming on behalf of Jeson Industries. So I'll speak about the, some innovations in the field of emulsion synthesis and emulsion product, which is coming out of Jeson's R&D. As you have seen that we have created a new R&D center and we have completely changing the way of working, adding new instruments and new scientists, and almost we have several PhDs in chemistry in our lab, and we want to increase more and more. So my role here is to create a technology platform, or rather an advanced platform, to take Jeson's journey to the next steps. So with this, as you know, that basically I will cover, in the first part I will cover some science discussion around the new synthetic approach, and the second part I will talk of some products. See, all of us, we know that particularly my talk will be confined to only decorative water-based emulsions coating field. So that's the scope of my talk. See, all of you have seen, when you paint a building, it looks very beautiful. But when it is exposed to the outside, its actually outside environment is never so innocuous to the coating. We all know that India, we say around 8,000 kilometers of coastline. But today again, I was just finding in the Googling it, it was based on the mapping done in 1970. With the latest, with the latest satellite pictures and other, they have, with the inclusion of all offshore lines, it has now become 11,000, because earlier it was only the coastline. If you took the offshore environment, which are also equally harsh like a coastal climate, the total coastline today is 11,000 kilometers. Now, as you know that, the environment, the characteristics of this environment, of coastal environment, they are well documented also in certain specs, particularly ISO 12944, that's an industrial specs. They clearly mention that, it has a, several factor, and all these things create a different kind of stress elements. Like in the coastal environment, you find intense ultraviolet light, which can lead to photo degradation or a binder degradation, high rainfall, high humidity, which can create dampness, industrial pollutants, generally most industries are along the coastline. There are a lot of suspended particulates, and they can deposit, which could result in your DPOR kind of thing, dirt pickup resistance. Even from exhaust emission, you get a lot of black particles. Sometimes it gives a black look in the ugly building. You have find particularly there are high vegetation near the coastal. From this high vegetation, there are deposition of algae spores on the building, which can germinate the, the green patches, or sometimes if it is a fungus, it's a black patches. Then high wind velocity near the coastline, it can create a lot of abrasion because of the sands are also floated along with that. High salinity and high surface dampness, and finally the cyclical stress, because it is not always uniform steps. There is a variation in humidity, night time, daytime, or there can be temperature variation. And because of this differential humidity and temperature, you can face, a different cyclical stress. And cyclical stress are far more dangerous, not only on coating, even on human beings. So now, if you look at, what kind of problems, what we see here. See, basically, when the buildings receives a lot of rainfall, high intense rainfall, typical problems, I think all of us in the coating industry has seen, there is a rising dampness which gives to a patchy look. That's one of the responsibilities. Secondly, we find that a dirt pickup, this is a most common problems. There can be flaking. Most of the failure sometimes on long term is related to flakings and cracks. Then we find sometimes green moss and algae deposition, particularly in the Kerala climate. Because of high vegetation, the algal spores get deposited, and that gives some greenish patch. Then we find a lot of streak marks. Sometime from the parapet lines, you will find a lot of nicely painted building. After 6 months, it is giving streak mark. This is essentially coming because I will explain more about hydrophobicity and hydrophilicity difference. This is a very, very common problem. And this part, you see the uniform red coating in between white mark, which are known as efflorescence. These are the typical, the things, problems what we find. And obviously the interior expectations are mostly, with respect to high washability, and sometimes, the high stain resistance. The children birthday, people do apply a lot of stains sometimes. And you require easy cleanability. And apart from this, people also need the indoor environment should be very, very hygienic. Means, nowadays, indoor air quality reduction is also a great challenge, and how coating can also help it. Now, going into this, I have seen that I am talking this because any emulsion, any development has to come from the customer requirement and customer pain points. So if I summarize the pain points of the architectural coating industry, so first one is the durability challenges. That's why you see every company are trying to give 10-year, 15-year, 20-year to differentiate the product, higher and higher warranty. And if there are durability challenges, aesthetic gets spoiled. You find color and film integrity retention is also, deteriorated. There are cracks and peeling because of adhesion failure with the substrate. Sometimes ugly look, different patches because of dampness, stain issues, DPOR and dirt pickup resistance is poor, it looks ugly, algal depositions, poor water resistance, and all these things, what it results in? It results in premature failure of the coating system and resulting in warranty failure. Sometimes there is a claims and monetary loss, and finally the customer dissatisfaction. So these are the consequences. Now, I have seen that, see, all these things, what I have stated in the left, the major pain points, these are the major pain points which I have already described. Now, emulsion is the heart of the binders. This is the key role to play in resolving many of these problems. And when we see a simple latex, it's not a styrene acrylic or pure acrylic. What has gone in inside it, like its composition, telling styrene acrylic also there can be many compositional variations which can alter the property. That's why I always say, one is the chemistry may be same, but my architecture of polymer design can be different, which can result in different properties. There can be particle size, distribution, MFFT variation, what type of surfactant, what has been used, nature of cross-linker in the emulsions, how I am managing the hydrophilicity and hydrophobicity balancing in my latex, and nature of film formation, how good is my binder to form films or get complete coalescence, because irregular coalescence or improper coagulation can lead to poor film strength. And finally, many of the failure are because of lack of film elongations and tensile strength. And that's why the balancing of tensile strength, elongation along with the adhesion, this is a very complex challenges, and more new innovation are trying to get the simultaneously the high elongation and high pull-up adhesion. That's the one of the, along with the high DPUR. These are the most critical challenges from the polymer binder characteristics. So at Jesons, currently our role is to, what we are trying to generate, we are trying to develop more on a functional binder. Within the same generic chemistry, we are trying to enhance our binder space by a new product. Obviously the first one, the shift to our entire platform to green platform, which is VOC, low order, APO-free, formaldehyde, because these are the need of the day. I think even the big vendors of the world have done it, and we have also more and more completely our new plants will be free from all APO and formaldehyde from the system. So that's the direction we are working. Second is the residual monomer control. But most important part what is coming up, we are working value creation or property differentiation through precision polymer design and architecture modification of the polymer. And cost and process efficiency is obviously that's a part of the game for any company. Now the key, some of the areas where we are currently working, emulsion with excellent UV stability and color retention, emulsions with strong multi-surface adhesion like glass, metal, concrete, emulsion with high water repellency means high water contact angle. This will lead to poor streak mark, on the no streak mark when you expose the coating. And prevention of surfactant leaching. Many of you have seen in many houses, particularly if you apply a color coating inside a AC house, if the windows are not open, sometimes you find eye drops marked. These drop marks are known as surfactant leaching. And that kind of surfactant leaching comes when you use a free surfactant in the system. That can lead to color leaching in the house. Emulsion with low coalescent demand. Now, how to develop an emulsion which will require less coalescent but still form perfect film. And of course, we are also working on the anti-corrosion space. It's not going. Okay. Now, just to give you the three basic direction what we are working, I think I will little bit I will explain on that. On the polymer architecture modification, in this part, we are essentially looking at core and shell kind of polymerization. Within the core and shell space, you can get a lot of property modifications. Like I will just explain that. If you look at in this particular polymer, like this is a monodisperse latex. Today, styrene acrylic and pure acrylic, essentially it's like a one solid ball. And you will get a properties at the surface and the bulk are identical. So that's a monodisperse latex. Now we can see one, it's like a core and shell. You can make the core soft, shell hard, or hard core, soft shell, or core may be void along with a hard shell. Now all the different kind of things are being done, essentially a polymer architecture modification to get some selective property. For example, if I make the soft core and a hard shell, with a more acrylic, we can get a better durability. Or if you get a soft, hard core with a soft shell, you may get lesser coalescent. And these are hollow voids and outer shell is hard, which are more of the opacifier and other. So that's one of the aspects where we are working. And the second area where we are working is the nanostructuring. Basically, we are trying to embed within the polymer structure some kind of silica and some nanoparticle. And these nanoparticle incorporation will give you better UV resistance, better durability, better gut pickup. So many functional properties which can resolve some of the existing pain point can be achieved through nanostructuring. Third area where we are working in the latex particle, especially the functionalization of polymer latex particle. Now these functional groups can be many things. I can have an anti-corrosive end group. I can have some kind of long chain fatty acid which can give you better coalescence. So like this, many functional derivative functionalization will lead you to a lot of unique properties. So these are the three broad areas where you are working in the synthesis platform. So one on core cell modification, another is the nanostructuring, and third is the functionalization. So this is again, and fourth also we are working a little bit on the area of hybrid latexes like organic inorganic and organic organic, like acrylic PU or acrylic PUD or alkyd PUD, that kind of thing. So with this backdrop, it's not moving. So I am now come to the some of the main properties of the 4 or 5 emulsions. What in our R&D we have come out. I'll talk on that. First one is the premium pure acrylic for interior and exterior coating. We have one regular acrylics that all of you know, but I think what we have done in the new one. So this is the new one what we have come up with, a premium pure acrylic. Now this particular we call it A261 was our first generation. Now GJ is the new develop. Now here primarily we are trying to achieve a scrub resistance of much higher. It has a good adhesion even not only on a alkyd and glossy alkyd. Over glossy alkyds also it has a good adhesion. Like if you want the entire building like hotels to be water based, you can use this building even over pre-existing enamel coating. Over that also you can apply. Excellent water heightening and superior dirt pickup resistance. So this particular things you will find we have just shown you the properties. I am not going to show in detail because like you see the first one is the scrub, this part is increased, our alkyd adhesion is increased. Here it's you can see the value may be less. Some people may say it's a 3,000, 4,000. But it is a very aggressive study with a seam in between we have tested. That's why the values are less, but still better than the industry benchmark. This is the one international benchmark we have taken. And you can see also we have improved because many interior of the house, there are hairline cracks. So many cases, the first generation was much harder. Now that we have improved the elongation also so that there are no hairline cracks inside. And of course the product stability is very good. If you look at, we have just shown that over a glossy alkyd, if you apply a conventional acrylic, you can see the scrub is lower and erosion degree, if you measure by Tabor abrasion, you see erosion loss is much higher. But relatively here it is much, much better. So that's the first acrylics, what we have done. And then we move to the second one. This is similarly, we have done one exterior acrylic coatings. And here you are mainly our intention or our motto was to achieve outstanding QV resistance, more than the 1,000 hours. That's our intent to do this. High DPUR, excellent water streak mark. Normally these line marks should not come, and obviously water whitening, scrub, stain. These are the properties it has. Essentially, this coating is good for giving very high warranty. If you want to give a 10-year or 15-year kind of warranty, that kind of scenario, it can give you better result. Easy Clean Binder. This is also one new, introduction from our range. It's basically for interior coating based on styrene acrylate. Primarily, it gives a water beading effect, a easy cleaning effect, and also high stain resistance. Here, of course, it's a little more hydrophobically modified so that you get the higher water contact angle. And here I will show you the kind of things like if you give the stains, different kind of stains. It's just stains doesn't absorb, it gets the, the rollover on that. And even different stains like hydrophobic and hydrophilic stains like tea, coffee can easily be removed 100%. And some of the hydrophobic stains like shoe polish and turmeric is the most dangerous in terms of stain. Even the world benchmark I have seen, they don't pass very well. But here, at least when I see in turmeric, in our case, the intensity of the patch has reduced compared to even international benchmark. And some pencils and other very faint color, which I think removal capability is very high. And you get some very easy cleaning effect on that. So these are some of the properties for but this is meant for interior emulsion. It's basically more of a styrene backbone. And fourth one is the new high gloss emulsions, where we have achieved a very high gloss up to maybe 74, 75 at 60 degree, and essentially good block resistance and high exterior durability. So you will shortly find out this will also be available in our range very shortly. And here you see the gloss edge. This is again, I have taken the one of the world best gloss emulsions from the international standard. Against that we have matched this, and all other properties we have matched 100% completion with very good gloss retention. And this is a new one which we have very recently done for solving some problem in the industry. The paint is applied over various kind of heavily putty surface, and it has created a lot of chalky material on that. Now, generally people use the common primer on that. Then when you use a better top coat, it just comes out or peels off. So between the primer and adhesion, the failure you will find very common in the decorative industry. And it is more so when the surface is prepared exterior more with by putting too much of a cement putty or any kind of old building where a lot of chalky surface are there. So we have now come out with a nano emulsion. It is little, much finer than the conventional emulsion, let's say around 120 nanometer. Here we have gone up to 65, 70 nanometer. So it can penetrate, this is two property. One is a very high chalk binding property so that you get better adhesion with the top coat. Another part, if you apply directly over a new surface, it can block the concrete pores. Just like, it has because of a narrow particle size, concrete pores are much larger than this. So it can penetrate deep inside. And in fact, we have seen around more than 2 millimeter kind of chalk, depth of penetration inside the concrete. So this is a very good product for solving the intercoat adhesion between primer and top coat, or if you want to enhance the warranty in the interior coatings, this kind of binder is very good. And these are my elastomeric series. We have these three products earlier, but recently we have come out with two new. One is a 60% pure styrene acrylic, another is this is a 60% and this is a same 50%. But this particular thing is very interesting because here we have balanced the elongation and DPUR together. I have seen many companies use damp-proof primer, but damp-proof primer are not always overcoated. So if you typically use a liquid applied membrane, which is softer coating, they pick up the dust very well. They have a very good elongation and membrane property, but they become blackish unless you top coat with a hard top coat. But in this product with a single emulsion, you get good elongation, but at the same time good DPUR, so that people same damp-proof coat you can use as it is in the exterior, roof coat and many other places. So it's a balance of elasticity and elongations. And like this one has been done with the 60% series. Here we are just, sorry. So in this case, you can see ours is little, better than the conventional benchmark product. So we are showing less dirt pickup, but it has also a very good surface cross-linking property. All these kind of things have been specially engineered. And so we have shown some property like 7 days tensile strength. DPUR, I can see it is 4 to 4.5, better than market benchmark. Elongation, you have seen we have improved. So and then we go to the next one, which is the 50% acrylic, styrene acrylic. It has a balance of elongation and DPUR, and it's ideally requires a damp-proof coating, or even you can do a rooftop membrane which are not overcoated. And here also you see the elongations, but it is not like the flexible membrane when you need a 10-year warranty. There it may be little, there maybe you might find around 300%, but it is still the mest part is the DPR is good, but generally in the exterior and other, more than 200% elongation is good enough to give you the warranty. So, and at the same time you see the pull-up adhesion. Typically most concrete, you can get a good elongation, but your pull-up comes down. Pull-up adhesion is only 1 to 1.5 MPa, but here you see with a proper cross-linking and adhesion promoter, we have increased to 3, which is very, very critical for giving a long-term warranty, because your warranty will depend how long it can retain its initial adhesion. So that part is very, very taken care of. And finally, this is one chart I have seen that we have a, the 3 things, like our first workhorse product was 5800, which are basically very good product in all property. Like if you look at from a tensile strength wise, it is also maybe, the 280% or close to 300%. Then you find tensile, and you see the kind of this one is yes, this is the second one. The second one means Elasto 50. Elasto 50, the green one, you find elongation is good. It's cheaper product. Elongation is good, but other properties like DPUR retention is not so good. Moderate, I will say. Pull-up is moderate. This is also moderate. And this blue one, which has come out, the latest 7070, which we are now promoting more for balance of elasticity and DPUR. So here you will find, good 230 to 240% elongation, but at the same time, most important is the very high pull-up adhesion, very high DPUR, and also reasonably good, things are the reasonably good tensile strength. So that's the, some of the innovations what I would like to share. I think I have already exceeded my time. Thank you all for your kind attention. If you have any questions, you are free. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mallik. Any questions? Yes, we have a lot of questions. Can we hand over the mic to the gentleman right there?
Thanks a lot for coming here, Dr. Mallik. Your legacy and contribution to the paint industry are legendary. Thanks a lot. I have an amateur question. In my home, so I have this hypothetical situation that I have a mold problem or a water streaking problem in my washroom or a bathroom. Now, if I go to a paint dealer, he would offer me interior generic paints, okay, or give me some quality of some company which is tinted and then given to me. How can I be sure that the product is specified for this kind of a coating? Are the brands launching products for a washroom or anti-mold coatings in a small area? I'm not talking about contractors doing a big building. I'm talking about this general retail customer who wants a high quality product. And is there any benchmark that would guarantee on the paint can that this is certified, that this won't give me mold or this will not give me water streak marks in a washroom in high moisture conditions?
See, I think most of the interior failure, like in a bathroom, waterproofing management and the wall waterproofing management are two different areas. Typically in bathroom case, the one have to first check what is the level of surface moisture you have present. For example, any kind of coating, even if it's a good coating, if you apply when the surface moisture is more than 8%, it will not create a very strong adhesion. So what is recommended that if it is a more to 8 to 9% surface dampness, it can come from any direction, from subsoil or external infiltration, anything. There you need to put a very strong waterproofing compound. Yes, I agree, there you can get a lot of product with similar kind of claims. It's and you can get a certificate. Even getting certificate is also not difficult, let me tell you. So you might find also same. But I think the most of the cases you should look at the system and thickness. Problem is that like in all waterproofing coating, like damp proof, people say apply my damp proof. Now you are supposed to say, let's say when you give a 10-year warranty, it's the thickness of the damp proof matters. You have to look at, they say it is warranty for 10 years if it is a minimum 500. But actually applicator applied 200 to 300 micron and finished the job. And you cannot check the thickness. So how you can check the thickness? You can calculate theoretically that for giving 500 micron, how much thickness I should apply. It might require 2 coat or 3 coat. You have to enforce that he applied 2 to 3 coat to get the right thickness. Because if you make the thickness half, because an applicator will try to save money and other, that's the tendency I have seen. And many of the cases for getting business, people quote at a much cheapest price, and how will you save the money unless I layer thickness is reduced. So these kind of games are happening in the market. Only thing is that you have to make sure first what is writing. They write, yes, it is meant for 500 micron. Then you see, you prove me that you have applied 500 micron. You will find they will not be able to prove it. Okay, so that's one thing. The thickness matter in waterproofing coat. Second, in the damp proof cut, what kind of coating you are giving. Now, if you find damp is coming from your, most of the cases damp coming from your neighbor's floor at the top. Okay, so you can do it by various way, by putting damp proof coat on the top or by membrane or something like that. But what will happen in a society if you tend to do it, the moment you apply the damp proof, you will find the tile of the neighbor's bathroom will lift it up. So that kind of thing will happen. So all these cases, I would say, look at the coating system and thickness, what he recommended, and make sure if there are bathroom, all tile grouts are properly. Make sure all the grout point you refill once again. Either epoxy grouts and other grouts, then you will find the bathroom problems. If you solve wall side, it will come less.
Thank you, sir. So my question was, if you are giving your most premium product to some paint company, how would I know that he is using that product and is a superior product? Because it's not nowhere mentioned. Everybody is doing cost cutting nowadays. So your most innovative product meant for this end application, it's nowhere mentioned on the paint, that this is being used, you are using such a high grade product, because the differentiation is there in the raw material.
No, but you see, I tell you, even the innovative companies, the one is that I think copying data sheet is one game. Okay, everybody take the best, but some companies still do test and give product. They test it exhaustively. For example, latest trend, what is happening? People know customers is coming down to the level of 200 micron, let's say waterproof. Now people are deciding, working at development where at lower thickness, I get the same pull-up, same kind of thing. So that kind of areas, some companies are working on that direction in R&D level. So it's not by, the cheapening, if it is the market practice is 200, I should not name it. Let's say one of the leader company, he came out with the Hydrolock and other. He has reduced the thickness, no for another lot of advancement. But he had made sure the polymer structure is totally different. At lower thickness, it is capable of giving same kind of waterproofing resistance in the R&D. So that's kind of work one have to think on that. Yeah. J400 is our waterproofing emulsion for cementitious coating. I have not mentioned here. We have got J400 and J600, two brands, but these are for two-pack product. See, what we are discussing here is a liquid applied water one-pack product. But for cementitious, you have a two-pack product. One pack is cement, waterproofing, another part is the waterproofing binder. With that, you can make like a two-component dam block or maybe, cementitious mortar, that kind of thing. So that have all these things, they have a little different structure so that they can sustain the extremely high alkalinity of the cement binder. Cement binder is extremely alkalinity, so that they have to face.
So one last very quick question. Audible?
Yeah.
One last quick question, sir. I was going through your presentation, so what I presume is you are designing coatings and emulsions, considering the UV factor, the rainwater, maybe the coastal lines. But there are certain lifestyle choices which have been happening and changing in the living space, of people staying at their homes, maybe the offices, the hospitals, the hotels. The advent of air purifiers. So now air purifiers improve the quality of air, in all these spaces. But does that mean when the quality of air is being improved, the lifespan of the coating, the internal walls also improves? If yes, well and good. If not, does it adversely affect the lifespan of the coating? And if it does, are we at Jesons designing something considering these air purifiers or maybe air conditioners in the living space?
No,
You know?
yeah, coming back to the thing, see, I tell you, indoor air environment. Today, if you look at the people mindset, my outdoor environment is highly polluted. How can I create a micro environment within the room which is more hygienic and less polluting like that? Of course. So obviously windows will be closed, I am assuming that. Now in that scenario, let's say what people want. People want to feel more comfort and elderly and children should not lead to some allergic infections and other. So what you need, first things, the allergic infection like we call that, um, you know, deep my building, big offices whereby centralized air condition, people fall sick very often. So a sickness syndrome hai, this comes because of the bacteria coming from the various persons and also from the carpets, coatings, furnitures and other. For example, if there are foul things are there, you will find it evolves some free formaldehyde. Sometimes it may give, let's say in many hotels, you go first time, you will find the foul smell and sometimes it can have a back carpet smell because of the biogenic action of some bacteria can evolve some hydrogen sulfide also. That sulfides gives you very bad smell. So what happens on that kind of smell if it is bounced or similarly, let's say you have a MDF coating. MDF polymer also very slowly releases formaldehyde because MDF coatings are compressed with a layer of urea formaldehyde and then pressurized. Now, nowadays what is coming up? People have come out, some kind of coating like odor absorbing coating, formaldehyde abatement coating. Like we also had one thing, coating can absorb only the formaldehyde portion and at least you see if there are formaldehyde coming from your furniture, MDF furniture mainly, or from the carpet because of the biological or biogenic action, they can absorb. But the second part, what you say, like all kind of odor absorbing, like let's say nicotine odor, I want to have the fish smell, nobody wants some, other kind of room unhygienic odor. So that kind of odor absorbing, there are some companies working, but that's require a different kind of thing. But issue is that there's sustainability. I can get immediately sometime, but it might be 2 months, 3 months, and after that you find it gets absorbed back. But what people are also now trying to do a fragrance with encapsulation so that you can create a better feeling environment by giving right fragrance and which will have a life up to 6 months. So slowly it will regen. So you can create the environment little better. And now putting some fragrance encapsulations also interior some of the product. And then other things also people are thinking, your comfort comes when you get the temperature and the humidity. If you have a 60% humidity and 25 temperature, the AC best comfort. Some companies are also trying to do some, like a humidity controlling, how they can do temperature controlling. There are using some phase changing polymers they can do. So there are a lot of innovation around that people are trying to do. So that's a open area, what I see, but the main thing is that can we create a micro environment which is highly hygienic? Obviously for that your all solvents and VOC have to be removed, zero. Perfectly say zero VOC coating. Zero means zero, absolute zero, no VOC like 30 grams or 50 grams, no. So that kind of thing. So that's the intent. I think a lot of innovation happening on that directions and a lot of new molecule being seen.
Thank you so much. Let's give a hand in hand for Dr. V.P. Mallik, sir. I request you to please be on the stage.